We'll go over it in about 10 more seconds. Okay, to make sure we're using our time best on the call, we're not going to go over every single one of these, but I would like to talk about 3 and 7/12. So could I have a quiet hand volunteer who would be willing to share out what she did for 3 and 7/12? What was one way you did it? And we'll take about 3 different ones. Oh, love all these eager volunteers. Thanks, ladies. Tessa, go ahead, unmute yourself and tell us what you did. If it's helpful, you could even hold something up to the screen, or you could tell us in words and I'll write it on my shared screen.
I did 3 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 to get 7/12. I'm 3 and 7/12. So I did 1/12 7 times and then 3 once. Miss Georgia, on mute.
Thanks, Tessa. You had all these unit fractions in here, right? That have 1 in the numerator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's hear a different way someone did it. May, would you unmute and tell us what you did, please?
I did 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 3/12 plus 3/12 plus 5/12 plus 5/12 plus 2/12 plus 0/12 plus 12/12 plus 7/12.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, I don't know if I can get that all down fast enough, but so do you know how many total 12ths were you adding up to, May? Did you calculate that?
No.
I'm thinking you knew it was going to be the 3 whole was the same as 36/12.
Yeah.
And you knew you had 7 more 12ths, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So then type it in the comments. How many would this be in our numerator in total 12ths? How many 12ths? 36 plus 7. How many total 12ths? Good, guys. Yeah, 43/12. So May had a bunch of different numerators that added up to 43/12. Awesome. And then last, let's have Lila unmute, please. And Lila, you can share a different way you did it and your question.
Okay, so I did 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3/12 plus 3/12 plus 1/12.
Ooh, and that got you to 43 total 12ths?
Yeah, it got me to 3 and 7/12. So.
Awesome.
And then I had a question.
Please.
So when you're decomposing fractions, are you allowed to subtract?
Oh, great question. That would be a creative way to do it. Yes, according to these directions, we still would, because it didn't say that it had to be the sum, right? It didn't say decompose these fractions into the sum of other fractions. Because when we hear sum, we'd think sum, addition. Sing it with me. Sum, addition, sum, addition. But it didn't say that in the directions. So subtraction would have been allowed. Very creative. Usually, though, we think of addition because that's going to help us with our lesson today as well. So that's like the easiest way for our brain to think about it.
I was just thinking if you got above the number that you were supposed to be with, then could you like subtract to get back down to it?
Very cool. So we could have said 3 and 7/12 is 44/12 minus 1/12. I didn't even think of it that way. Okay, we're going to move on from examples, but burning questions. Any burning questions still about how to decompose fractions? Okay, so now we get into today's lesson, which, in case you hadn't guessed it, is going to have to deal with fractions. And I pulled up an example I really loved which is baking. Raise your hand if you love baking with fractions too. Awesome. We know all those measurements involve fractions. And so this example involves my secret sugar cookie recipe. I think the one in your journal involves baking muffins today. So the one I put on here is not an actual recipe. I just made up these fractions because they're fun numbers to work with. But if you want my actual secret sugar cookie recipe, I did post it in today's lessons plans. So you could look back at that later. There's a link there. And you could even, with a parent permission, try baking your own cookies. But so let's look at this one. Mrs. George's secret sugar cookie recipe makes 21 cookies. Here are the ingredients. Oops, I already spotted a typo. Type it in the comments if you notice what my typo is. Anybody? Okay, I'm going to give it to you. Some of you might have seen it. Ingredients. I should have put an I here. I'm sorry. Okay, moving along though. And hint, hint, hint. This problem, oh, you got it, Gabby. Yeah, good job, girls. This problem is very similar to the ones you'll see in your journal page. So the keys you want to notice are that this recipe makes 21 cookies. That's going to help us later. But let's do, oops, I jumped ahead in problems. 21 cookies. Let's do the first problem. I decide to double the recipe. So now how many, if I'm doubling the recipe, how many cups of butter will I need? Well, that one's a pretty easy one. I'm going to do it for us. If I look back and see how much butter goes into one, it was 2 cups. So I know now I just need 2 plus 2 equals, hold it up on your fingers really fast or type in the comments, good job, 4, good. And for basketballs, for ice cream cones, for what? 4 cups. Good, Claire. Can't forget my units. So I would need 4 cups. That was a pretty easy one because I just had to add this whole number. Okay, just had to double this whole number. I could have also said 2 times 2 equals 4 cups. Right? Either way works. Hi, Samantha. Welcome. We're just going over some problems that are going to be set you up for success in your journal. Okay, and you can go back and watch more of the recording later. Okay, now we get to deal with our fun fractions. So now it asks how many teaspoons of baking soda would I need? So I'm going to look back in my recipe and find how much one needs. One batch needs 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda. So raise your hand if you'd like to share with us an addition equation that could help us solve this question. An addition equation. Lila, go ahead. Try to spread it around next time.
You could do 3/4 plus 3/4.
Excellent. Equals what?
6/4, which also equals 1 2/4.
Woo, which also equals?
1 1/2.
Yay. 1 1/2 computers? 1 1/2.
1 1/2 teaspoon.
Thank you. And you can write TSP for teaspoons. That's a quick abbreviation. Who could give us a multiplication equation? Lila gave us the addition one. Who could give us the multiplication one? I'm going to try to pick someone I haven't called on yet. Gabby. Unmute, please. It's okay, Samantha. Just scrap paper.
3/4 times 2.
Excellent. We're doubling it times 2. And we know that when we multiply a fraction by a whole number, we multiply the numerator times 2 would give us 6/4 still. And Gabby, can you finish us off with the units? 6/4 teaspoons. Or simplified 1 1/2 teaspoons. Okay, same answer both ways. Okay, so now the way Lila reduced this down to 1 1/2 will make it easier to answer this question. Between what 2 whole numbers does your answer to problem 2 lie? So our answer to problem 2 was 1.5 teaspoons, right? Good, Lila, you got it already. And so sometimes girls get confused about this, but once you've made a mixed number, it's pretty easy to see what whole numbers this is between. Some of you are already typing it in the comments. 1.5 is between 1 and 2. Okay, let's just practice like a totally different. If I said 6 3/4, you would know that is between what 2 whole numbers? Type it in the comments. 6 3/4 is between what 2 whole numbers? Yep, good job, Claire. Good girls. 6 and 7. So don't get too confused by this question when you see it today. As long as you've made the mixed number, it's going to be pretty easy for you to see what it's between. Any questions so far about how we doubled this recipe using addition and multiplication? Okay. Now, remember how I said it was important to notice that this batch made 21 cookies? Well, so that's going to help us with this new problem. Same recipe, but now it says she actually decides that she needs to make 63 cookies. How much vanilla extract will she need? So before I can even go back in my recipe, I want to think, well, 63 cookies is going to mean how many batches? How many times does 21 go into 63? Exactly, Lila. So you have to think about that as, well, 1 batch is 21 cookies, right? 2 batches, we'd add another 21 cookies. That's 42. But then 3 batches, that is 63 cookies. So when I read this, I'm actually going to think, oh, 3 batches. So now I'm not doubling. Good. It's 3 times as much. Good. Now I'm not, I like the way someone said that. I did repeated addition, but someone said, or I could have just thought 21 times 3 is 63. And that's how I know it's 3 batches this time. Exactly, Gabby. Now you are tripling the recipe. Okay, so again, there'll be one like this on your journal page where you have to first think, oh, well, how many batches of muffin is that? And then decide what you're doing. So I'm tripling my vanilla extract. So I'll find vanilla extract. That was 1/4 teaspoon. So who could give us the addition equation first to find out how much vanilla extract? Let me call on someone I haven't already. Sana. Can you unmute and tell us the addition equation you'd use? Good use of the comments.
Addition problem. The addition one?
The addition one. For how much vanilla? What?
1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4 of vanilla.
Excellent units too, Sana. Good. 3/4. And then we know our units are teaspoons of vanilla. So you're going to write teaspoons. And if you want to be really specific, you could say of vanilla extract. But you don't, this of vanilla is kind of the extra. Okay. And then who could give us the multiplication equation? Carlum.
You would do 1/4 times 3 equals 3/4 teaspoons.
Good. And if I asked you between what 2 whole numbers does 3/4 lie, we would say 3/4 is between, type it in the comments. What and what? 3/4 is between what and what? Type in the comments what you think. It's a little bit trickier. Good. So I see some girls saying 1 and 2 and some girls saying 0 and 1. Think about it. 3/4. Is that 1 whole yet? Not yet. So that's why it's actually between 0 and 1. If you had said that, you were right. I'm glad some girls guessed 1 and 2, though, because that helps clear it up for us. This is not yet 1 whole. It's less than a whole. So we're not quite there yet. Okay. Any burning questions about how we solve with addition and multiplication to triple or double or whatever we need to do to our batches. So now at this point, you have all the tools you need to be successful on your journal page. If you feel ready to go, I will have you unmute, we'll do our handshake, and you can sign off. If you would like to stay on a few extra minutes and do a couple more journal problems together, just stay on mute and stay on the call, and we will be able to do those together. Okay, so let's start. I see Lila unmuted, so she's ready to go. Let's go ahead and do yours, Lila. We have to start rainbow wave, right? Rainbow wave, high five. Bye, Lila.
Have a good day.
Stay on then, Claire.
Bye.
Bye. May, we're gonna do yours, okay? Yes, you have to go get your mask. We're gonna do journal problems. Oh, sorry. 2, 1, 2, foot. Oh. Sorry. 1, 2.
Bye.
Okay, 10. Head or head.
Oh.
Bye. Thanks for staying on to do a few more problems. Thanks for your good patience. It will be helpful to talk through a few more, and I'll definitely get to your question, Claire. So thanks if you're staying on. Okay, Sophia, and you too, Carlum, I'll get to your question. Sophia, you are ready to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll do. Bye, Sophia. Have a good afternoon or good day. I'll see you at 1. I forgot to say that. I'll see you all again at 1 for our read aloud, of course. Okay, cool. Hold on, Samantha. We haven't done that yet. And saying
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sophia. Dribble. Go back. Bye, Sana.
Bye.
Okay, Claire, your question first.
Do we have like a French?
Not today. There's no specials video chat for us today. Tomorrow, you will have a PE one with Miss Catherine, and she'll reach out about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait, so are you ready to go now? Let's yours.
But
Spin.
Yeah.
Bye, Claire.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Carlum, you had a question?
Yes. It's kind of about the journal page.
Okay. Go ahead.
So on page 233,
Yes.
it says question number 2.
Yes.
It says that they bake 48 muffins instead of 12. So like, would it be like doing like 48 like divided by 12 or?
Yes. Do you see, I already circled it. This was the one I was going to do together with you. So you are a mind reader, Carlum. So Suma and Pooja decide to bake 48 muffins instead of just 12 muffins. So the first thing you need to realize about that problem is, well, if they do 48 batches, that's 12 times what would give me that 48? Hold up on your fingers if you know. 12 times what would give you 48? 4. Exactly. So this time you're dealing with 4 batches. And we're going to actually keep going on this problem a little bit together. So everybody open up to page 233, please. Sorry, girls. Hopefully it comes back on soon.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm back. Sorry about that. Thanks for being patient. Mine
I
just
can't
froze
see.
for a second. Yeah, let me pull it back up. Okay. Now can you
Okay.
see?
Yeah.
Great. Is it blurry?
Only a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since you have your journals, hopefully we can still get through it. Gabby, are you there?
Yeah.
Wait, what page is it?
233. 233.
So will we be doing 231 through 33?
That's correct. Yes. you
Okay.
got it.
Because I just wanted to ask, because if I of my tab, I'll leave the meeting and then
Yes, those are the pages we're going to do.
going back.
So we're just going to do these last two together quickly, and then I'll set you off to work on your own. So Carlum just helped us realize that now we have 4 batches that we're working with, and then it says how many cups of honey did we use? Well, I need to go back in my recipe and figure out how much honey is in one batch. You can call it out.
2/3.
2/3 a cup of honey. But now I have 4 batches. So who would like to tell us, raise a hand this time, tell us your equation that you'll want to use? Delina, you're on a roll. What equation are you going to use?
2/3 times 4.
Beautiful. So now I can say, okay, 2 times 4 is, help me out. Call it out.
8/3.
8/3. Good. And now let's go a step further and make it into a mixed number. Raise your hand, please, to make it into a mixed number. Carlum.
2 2/3.
Good. 2 would be 6/3, but then you still have 2/3 left over. Beautiful. And now that we've done that, we can go back and fill out our answer. 2 2/3 cups of honey. A lot of honey. And then we can finally say between what whole numbers does it lie? Actually, this one, type it in the comments.
Gonna
If
be
2 2/3, type it in the comments between what 2 numbers does that lie? 2 2/3 is between 2 and 3. Very good, ladies. So if any more questions come up while you're working, just send me an email and we will work it out. Great job on this lesson today. We're going to do our handshake.